Long before food delivery apps brought meals straight to our doors, dining out in Britain was far more than just a convenient option. It was a meaningful event, something you looked forward to. Whether it was a family gathering, a birthday celebration, or a rare treat after a long week, there was a sense of occasion that came with the experience of sitting down at a restaurant, where the focus was not only on the food, but on spending time with loved ones, sharing stories, and enjoying each other's company. In the days before quick-service dining and on-the-go meals became the norm, eating out was often a luxury, reserved for special moments. The British high streets and motorways were once home to a range of unique restaurant chains, each offering its own signature take on classic British fare. These places weren't just about filling up on food, they were part of the rhythm of life, providing a comforting, familiar experience that people could rely on. But as the world changed, so did the dining scene. With the rise of new dining trends and shifting tastes, many of these beloved restaurant chains gradually faded from the high street. Some were replaced by bigger, flashier establishments, while others simply couldn't keep up with changing consumer demands. The chains that once filled our stomachs and our hearts slowly disappeared, leaving behind nothing but memories. In this video, we'll take a nostalgic journey through 10 beloved UK restaurant chains that once had a home on our high streets and motorways, but are now gone forever. Whether it was the hearty meals at Burney Inn, the all-you-can-eat buffets at Tar Barns, or the diner-style fun of Fatty Arbuckles, these chains were once an integral part of the British dining experience. Join us as we remember the good times we had in these iconic spots and explore the reasons they vanished. Number 11. Burney Inn. If you grew up in Britain during the 1970 seconds or 1980 seconds, there's a good chance you have fond memories of visiting a Burney Inn. For many families, it was the first proper restaurant experience, a chance to dine out in a proper setting, away from home cooking. The atmosphere at Burney Inn was casual but special, and the menu was a mix of British staples designed to please everyone. Classic dishes like steak and chips, scampi, chicken in a basket, and prawn cocktails made up the heart of the menu, and no meal felt complete without a slice of Black Forest Gâteau for dessert. There was something reassuring about Burney Inn. It didn't rely on gimmicks or trendy menus. Instead, it focused on reliable and comforting food served in a friendly, welcoming environment. For many people, it held a nostalgic place in their hearts, representing a time when dining out was an occasional treat, something that felt special but not overly fancy. At its peak, Burney Inn had over 140 locations across the country, from bustling high streets to quieter suburban areas. It was a popular choice for birthdays, family gatherings, and those rare occasions when you wanted to indulge in something a bit more than the usual home-cooked meals. Whether you were celebrating a special occasion or just treating yourself after a long week, Burney Inn was a go-to destination. However, by the 1990 seconds, things began to change. Dining out became more casual, and people's tastes shifted. As restaurants began to focus on more contemporary and trend-driven menus, Burney Inn began to lose its charm. The world of dining was evolving, and Burney Inn's classic offerings started to feel a little outdated. The chain struggled to keep up and gradually disappeared from high streets, fading into the background as newer restaurant concepts took hold. In 1995, Burney Inn was sold to Whitborough, who converted many of the former locations into Beefeater restaurants, leaving the Burney Inn name to quietly fade away. Though the brand may be gone, for those who grew up with it, it will always hold a special place in our memories, part of the foundation of British dining in the late 20th century. Number 2. Tar Barns. In the early 2000s, when all-you-can-eat buffets were all the rage, Tar Barns took that idea and supercharged it. This restaurant chain was more than just a buffet. It was an experience. The concept of endless food brought to life in a giant food hall setup made it feel like the future of family dining. Walking into a Tar Barns was exciting, especially for kids. The restaurant had a bustling, high-energy vibe that set it apart from more traditional dining spots. The layout was simple but effective. A long counter stretched the length of the restaurant, offering a range of food from classic roast dinners to burgers, pizza, pasta, and even desserts like ice cream and puddings. You paid one price, grabbed a plate, and helped yourself as many times as you liked. The concept was built around value, allowing families to enjoy a wide variety of food at an affordable price. Tar Barns became a destination for birthdays, group outings, and weekend treats. The atmosphere was loud, fun, and full of energy. It was the type of place where you could relax, eat as much as you liked, and enjoy time with loved ones in a lively, informal setting. The scale of it all felt almost American, and yet it still had that friendly, welcoming British feel. Despite the excitement it created, however, Tar Barns' massive buffet format was difficult to maintain. High operating costs and the rise of more casual dining chains with fresh branding began to erode the appeal of Tar Barns. In 2016, the last of the restaurants closed, marking the end of an experiment that had captured the attention of families across Britain. For those who experienced it, Tar Barns remains a fond memory of huge plates, endless food choices, and the thrill of something bold and a bit different. Number 3. Fatty Arbuckles. If you were around in the late 80 seconds or early 90 seconds, chances are you remember the loud, larger-than-life atmosphere of Fatty Arbuckles. Inspired by American diners and named after the silent film star Roscoe Fatty Arbuckle, this was a place that brought a full slice of Americana to the UK high street. Everything about Fatty Arbuckles was big: the portions, the atmosphere, and the menu. The burgers weren't just your standard fast food. They were towering stacks of meat, cheese, bacon, and sauce, piled high and served with a generous portion of fries. The milkshakes were served in tall glasses, and the desserts were indulgent, piled high with all sorts of toppings. Fatty Arbuckles didn't hold back. It was about offering something bigger and more exciting than the usual dining experiences of the time. For many families, Fatty Arbuckles was the place to go for a birthday meal or a weekend treat. The fun, vibrant atmosphere, complete with upbeat music and colourful decor, made it feel like a proper outing, one where you could enjoy more than just a meal. You could enjoy an experience. At its peak in the 1,990 seconds, Fatty Arbuckles had over 30 locations across the UK, and it became a beloved institution for those looking for a good meal with a side of fun. However, by the early 2000s, things started to change. As eating habits shifted and health-conscious dining gained popularity, Fatty Arbuckles began to feel out of step. Its over-the-top, indulgent menu was no longer as appealing in a world where lighter, more nutritious options were becoming the norm. Despite a brief comeback under different ownership, Fatty Arbuckles never regained its former popularity and eventually faded away, leaving behind memories of giant burgers, loud music, and a little slice of American magic in Britain. Number 4. Happy Eater. For families heading off on long car journeys across Britain, spotting the Happy Eater sign was always a welcome sight. Before sat-navs and modern motorway service stations, stopping off at a Happy Eater felt like part of the adventure. There was something comforting about it, something reliable. Designed with families in mind, Happy Eater served simple, reliable meals without the frills, offering hearty food that was cooked fresh and served with a smile. It wasn't about fancy decor or exotic menus, it was about comfort food done right. The classic offerings, bacon sandwiches, sausage and mash, roast dinners, and fry-ups were comforting and familiar, and there was something special about being able to grab a hot meal during a long journey. Happy Eater wasn't trying to be anything it wasn't, it was just there, providing good food for families on the go. The restaurant chain's recognizable red and yellow sign became synonymous with family holidays and road trips, marking a familiar, reassuring stop along the way. But as new motorway services popped up and the landscape of roadside dining changed, Happy Eater couldn't compete. Brands like McDonald's and Burger King took over, offering quicker meals and more familiar experiences. Slowly, Happy Eater locations were closed, and the brand faded into memory. Still, for those who remember the journey and the comforting meals, Happy Eater will always hold a special place. Number 5. Ping Pong. In the early 2000s, Londoners were introduced to something fresh, exciting, and a little different. Ping Pong, the dim sum chain that brought a taste of the Orient to the UK in style. At a time when dim sum wasn't yet widespread across the country, Ping Pong made this popular Chinese dining tradition approachable, modern, and incredibly stylish. The interiors of the restaurants were sleek, with low lighting, minimalist design, and an atmosphere that felt special, even if you were just popping in for lunch. Ping Pong wasn't just about food, it was an experience. The dining style, focused on sharing small plates, felt communal and vibrant. Dumplings, sticky rice, spring rolls, and steamed buns arrived one by one, and the menu had a contemporary twist on traditional flavors. For many people, it was their first introduction to dim sum, a style of dining that was social, exciting, and fun. The idea of sitting with friends or family, passing plates around, and trying a bit of everything was a dining experience that felt fresh and sophisticated. The restaurant was different in a way that felt uniquely British familiar, yet with a touch of elegance and cool. The flavours were bold, and the atmosphere made you feel like you were part of something new, but still inviting. Yet, despite its charm, Ping Pong struggled with mounting challenges. The pandemic hit the hospitality industry hard, and with the rising costs of rent and changing dining habits, the chain couldn't keep up. By 2025, the last of the Ping Pong locations quietly closed their doors, marking the end of a 20-year run. It was a short-lived but unforgettable experience for those who got to enjoy it. Simple dishes, great conversation, and the thrill of sharing something a little different. Number 6. Pizzaland. Before pizza became the takeaway staple it is today, and before high streets were lined with international pizza chains, there was Pizzaland, a place where British families could experience pizza for the very first time. For those who grew up in the 1970 seconds and 1980 seconds, Pizzaland was the ultimate introduction to the Italian classic, but with a distinctly British twist. The menu was simple, but beloved classic pizzas with familiar toppings, garlic bread, pasta dishes, and a few desserts. It wasn't aiming to be the next big thing in high-end dining or authentic Italian cuisine. It was about serving good food that people could enjoy in a casual, relaxed setting. For families, Pizzaland was a place to share a pizza, chat, and enjoy a meal without feeling the pressure to dress up or spend a fortune. You could walk in, sit down, and enjoy a hearty meal with a side of familiarity. Pizzaland became a mainstay across the UK, with over 140 locations at its peak. It wasn't just the food, it was the experience of enjoying pizza in a comfortable setting without any of the fuss. But as competition grew and the market became flooded with new pizza brands and bigger chains, Pizzaland began to feel outdated. By the mid-1990 seconds, it had gradually faded from the high street, closing its doors one by one. Despite its eventual disappearance, for a generation of Brits, the name Pizzaland still brings back memories of simpler times, shared slices, and that first moment of discovering just how good a hot, cheesy pizza could be. Number 7. Garfunkel's. If you ever visited central London in the 1980 seconds, 90 seconds, or even early 2000s, there's a good chance you ended up at Garfunkel's. This chain didn't specialise in a particular type of food. It offered a bit of everything: hearty breakfasts, casual lunches, traditional British dinners, and indulgent desserts. It was the kind of place where you could sit down with your family or friends and enjoy a relaxed meal without the pressure of fine dining. The menu was familiar: English breakfasts, burgers, roast dinners, and comforting puddings. Garfunkel's was one of those spots that made you feel at home the moment you walked in. The atmosphere was casual and welcoming, making it a popular choice for families, tourists, or anyone looking for a meal in a central London location without the fuss. It was a place where you could relax, chat, and enjoy a meal without feeling rushed. As the years went by, however, the restaurant scene in the UK began to change. Newer chains with sharper branding and more focused menus started to dominate, leaving Garfunkel's feeling a bit out of step with the times. By the late 2010 seconds, many of its locations had closed, and the brand slowly faded into the background. The pandemic dealt the final blow, and by the time the world started reopening, Garfunkel's had all but disappeared. Despite its closure, it still holds a special place in the hearts of those who dine there, offering a comforting, reliable experience that's hard to replace. Number 8. Little Chef. If you ever took a road trip across Britain, chances are you stopped at a Little Chef. For decades, this chain was a key part of the British motorway experience. The distinctive red and white sign was synonymous with roadside dining, and the experience of pulling into the car park and heading inside for a fry-up or a cup of tea became ingrained in many Britons' lives. Little Chef wasn't about fine dining, it was about reliable, comforting meals that hit the spot when you were far from home. Whether it was a full English breakfast, beans on toast, sausage and mash, or a generous plate of chips, you knew exactly what you were going to get. And for many families, on long road trips, Little Chef became a familiar friend along the journey. At its peak, Little Chef had over 400 restaurants across the UK, making it a fixture on the British road trip. However, as motorway services modernised and fast food chains began to dominate, Little Chef couldn't keep up. By the early 2000s, the chain started to close down, and eventually, it was sold and rebranded several times. In 2018, the last locations closed their doors for good. For many who grew up with it, though, Little Chef will always hold a special place as part of British road culture. Number 9. Deep pan pizza. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, deep pan pizza introduced many Brits to pizza in a new and exciting way. The chain's signature thick, doughy crusts, loaded with cheese and toppings, were a far cry from the traditional, thin Italian-style pizza that we know today. But that was the charm of deep pan pizza. It wasn't trying to be authentic or gourmet. It was about comfort, hearty meals, and making pizza a fun, indulgent treat for families. Deep pan pizza was the place to go if you wanted a big meal that filled you up and tasted great. The atmosphere was laid back, with families, friends, and couples gathering around booths to enjoy a generous helping of pizza, often with a side of salad or garlic bread. And for many, it was a place to share, laugh, and enjoy food without the need for a formal setting. But as tastes changed and more authentic and health-conscious pizza options arrived, deep pan pizza started to feel out of step. By the late 1990s, the chain gradually disappeared from the UK high street, unable to compete with the newer, flashier pizza chains that focused on thinner crusts and more contemporary flavours. For those who remember, deep pan pizza was a fond memory of indulgent meals, thick crusts, and carefree times with loved ones. Number 10. Fuzzy's Grub. Not every restaurant on this list was part of a larger chain, but Fuzzy's Grub, which was popular in central London during the early 2000s, had a loyal following despite its modest scale. Known for its roast dinners packed into takeaway boxes and sandwiches, Fuzzy's offered hearty comfort food that was perfect for those on the go. There was no pretension here, just good portions of roast pork with crackling, gravy-soaked stuffing and crispy potatoes, all served up for a quick lunch or dinner. It was food that didn't need to impress, it just needed to fill you up and satisfy. For many who worked in London, Fuzzy's Grub became the go-to spot for a comforting meal during a busy workday. But as rents increased and dining habits shifted, Fuzzy's Grub couldn't keep up. The brand couldn't survive the pressure of modern life, and one by one, the locations shut down. Still, for those who remember it, Fuzzy's Grub remains a nostalgic reminder of a time when good, hearty food was enough. No frills, just big flavours, and plenty of heart. These 10 beloved restaurant chains may no longer be with us, but they'll forever be part of the fabric of British life. From Fatty Arbuckles to Little Chef, each restaurant played a unique role in shaping the UK dining scene, providing comfort, community, and memories for countless families. They weren't just places to eat, they were staples of the British experience. Which of these vanished chains do you miss the most? Do you have any fond memories of dining there? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to Inside Britain for more stories from Britain's past. What's your favourite dining memory from the old days? Let us know in the comments, we'd love to hear from you.